Yo guys, we're back for another Last to First challenge on F1 2025, this time taking on Spa, Belgium in the rain as it should transition to dry conditions later in the race. Of course, it's the Belgium GP this weekend and it's forecast to rain, so we're adding in a bit of challenge with the realistic performance kick Sauber in this wet weather conditions, just getting off the line. Going to be quite cheeky with the AI down to turn 1, and yeah. Of course, the Sauber is not the fastest car on the grid. Oh, bit of wheel hooking there with the AI. We're free wide on the exit. And with the rain, I don't know. It might make it easier. It might make it harder for us. The AI are pretty quick in the rain on this year's International Formula 1 game. So we'll have to really see how that unfolds. But I do believe our straight line speed should be pretty good. I've opted for a fully dry setup. Almost into the back of Charles Leclerc there. So in the rain we might struggle a little bit in the corners, but when it does dry out later we should be flying. Somehow, speaking of flying, we found our way up already into P9 on the first lap, not even basically getting properly into Sector 2, and again going around the outside of the AI. Can we get Ocon as well? No, we're going to get a bit stuck in his dirty air there, but Antonelli we've already got past. The eagle-eyed viewers amongst you maybe also see that I'm wearing glasses for this race. The reason for that quite simply is I'm not affiliated with any company at the moment. Maybe in the future, who knows? But at the moment, just simply because I'm getting dry eyes when driving. So even when I was doing the Ironman race yesterday, at the moment I'm recording this video midday Friday, the 25th of July, when I was doing the Texas Ironman race. To be honest, my eyes were getting so dry when driving, they were getting really irritated. Ocon's in the gravel, Jesus! Getting really irritated. So I'm just trying out these glasses to see if it'll make it better for me, make it easier to focus, because yeah, it was really difficult towards the end of that race and really uncomfortable. But either way, we're going to be going up the inside of Esteban. Oh my god, we almost hit the back of Sainz there. It didn't look that extreme, I think, on the video. But I was locking up the tyres, and I wasn't 100% sure if we were going to get the car stopped there or not. But somehow, we found our way. Okay, we're not getting the car stopped there. We definitely ran into the back of Carlos Sainz. Not ideal. Luckily, it didn't pick up damage. It is on standard damage model. So that was quite lucky to not pick up anything there. But from P last up to P7 in the first lap. Where are you going, sunshine? That's just a lift, that is. Whoa, Sainz, you need to be carrying some more speed through there, big boy. Anyway, is that a Red Bull at the back of the pack? Ocon is trying to attack us as we're going to go round the outside of Carlos Sainz into the right-hander. And next up is going to be Oscar Piastri, Max Verstappen. And then who's up ahead of that? I think that's going to be Charles Leclerc or Lewis Hamilton up in P3 in this race. Of course, Ferrari are bringing brand new upgrades to their car as well. Should be very interesting to see how that plays on. Of course, I think practice is happening right now, actually, as I'm recording this video. So I'm going to be really interested to see how sprint qualifying plays out for Ferrari and Lewis and Charles, of course, with a new upgrade where it was pretty hyped up on social media, at least, what this upgrade could do. Lewis, I think, was playing it down in the media interviews on Thursday. So yeah, let's see what the actual reality is and how that car can perform. But of course, a really difficult situation either way. You know, it's you only get like 1 hour of practice to set up a new car. Well, not a new car, but a new philosophy with the rear suspension. So it's going to be really difficult to get right around Spa. With that being said, though, they do have the opportunity to be changing the setup a bit further into the weekend, though. I think so. Anyway, I think Parc Fermé opens again after the sprint race before the actual main race qualifying, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong there. If I am, please feel free to correct me. But anyway, so it is Lewis Hamilton up in P3. That must mean that Norris is P2 and then George Russell is flying in this race. Like I say, rain is expected to stop. Oh my word, a big tank stopper going up for Eau Rouge there. So the rain is expected to stop in this race, and it'll be quite interesting to see how that plays out with swapping over to the dry tyres. Purple Sector 1. Very nice for us indeed. Hamilton, Verstappen, Piastri. Next cars up the road. We are going to have to get a bit of a move on here with these 3 cars. Because Lewis seems to not have the pace of the 2 leaders. And is really backing up Verstappen and Piastri in this moment. We're losing quite a lot in the middle sector, but of course. It's a realistic performance kick Sauber. What is not ideal on the performance of the car. And we're running very low downforce. The rain is actually borderline stopped. The track is looking much drier. Apparently inters are still the best way to go. But what we're going to try and do is save battery into this final chicane. Gain as much time as possible. Then down the long DLS straight, we're going to try and use our opportunity. But that opportunity might come earlier than we first anticipated. Around the outside of Piastri. And we do a 58-0. We can actually retake the racing line into turn 1. I guess Piastri didn't use his battery to try and fight us off in that situation. Rain has stopped completely on the car. There's no rain droplets going down the car right now. Is Eau Rouge flat? No, it's still a bit of a lift. A big tank slapper at the top of the hill though. Using the battery, we're going to be very low on our deployment by the time we get to the corner. But it might be worth it for the positions we can gain. Can we go up the inside? Deep on the brakes here. A bit brave. And we're going to have to leave room on the outside. Still 3 wide on the exit. But just able to get the maneuver done. That is very lovely stuff. Up into the podium paying positions. But not in an ideal way, to be honest. Because George Russell is 6.1 seconds up the road. And there's not many cars, but there's literally only 1 car between me and George Russell. So we're not going to have DLS to be helping us in that opportunity of closing up. The tyres are really going off the cliff right now. Don't know what tyres to go to. I guess mediums would be the way to go. I think mediums would be the way to go at this point. More than likely we'll be boxing at the end of this lap as well. And now through final corner of sector 2, possibly. For the last time on these intermediates. 50% battery. Still flat out through that corner. Lost a little bit of time to George Russell. Right. What's the weather doing? Okay, I want to ask about the tyres now, please. Okay. Apparently 1 more lap on the inters. It's quite hard to judge on this year's game when the track is actually ready to go back to dries. So although it's a bit frustrating, sometimes it's better just to trust the engineer on that one. Otherwise then you hung out too early. And yeah, indeed, none of the AI boxed. And the AI are coded to know the optimal time to swap over. So yeah, it's not really that wise to go too much against them in that situation. But we have actually closed the gap down to 5.7 seconds. Lando Norris is also closing into George Russell as well. If they battle, that will help us. DLS has been enabled. What is really good for us, actually, that it got enabled after the straight. Otherwise, Lewis would have had quite a good opportunity to battle us into the middle sector. But where it got enabled, after the corner was done, he had no chance there. Okay, we're gaining quite a lot. We're really hooking up this lap so far. Nice into the apex. Okay, the dry setup is now starting to become alive underneath the car. Where we struggled a little bit on the inters. Well, we are still on the inters, but with the intermediate full wet condition, we are really starting to haul it together. Tyres overheating there, bits sliding past the surface of the track. Purple middle sector, 3 seconds up on my delta in fact. You won't be able to see that in game, but I have a little HUD on my steering wheel. So I can see that we're 3.06 seconds up on my previous lap time. So it's definitely time to box. And I think the medium tyre is the way to go from this point in the race. We have to go aggressive anyway. If we went hards, we would just be too far behind. Almost understeering into the wall there, getting it slowed down. So apart from the understeer, that was a half decent entry, and we've been able to hold up Lando Norris. That's been a win-win. We're going to hold up Mr. George Russell as well. Okay, Lando Norris did jump George Russell in the pit stop there. Okay, the lights have been turned off again. That's not ideal. Good pit stop from the team. We should have gained about a second, maybe, from holding up the 2 leaders. We're coming into the pit box. Also, Alexander Albon has gone for a lap longer. And we've gained a lot of time to Sir Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen as well. For 4 seconds up the road, we've gained a second on the cars ahead. Maybe a little bit more. And we pulled away multiple seconds to the car behind. So that's been an excellent pit stop phase for us. Alex Albon up ahead, who maybe can add a bit of trouble for the cars ahead of us as well. There's so much grip available to us immediately. That's crazy. That's the thing about Spa. The lap is so long that when you do have these crossover conditions, normally the track is borderline ready for the next tyre by the time you get around the track. It's not like Austria. Basically, like, Austria is half the lap time, almost, of here at Spa. So, like I say, just pretty much any other track, 1 lap does not make that much difference to the track condition. But here at Spa, it makes all the difference. But, speaking of making all the difference, Alexander Albon has been a rolling roadblock for Lando Norris and George Russell on this lap. So we've been able to close into them. Of course, Alexander Albon is still on intermediate tyres. Lando is going side by side almost. No, he's decided not to go side by side with Albon. We do a switchback here. Oh, yes, we can. We don't actually get DLS on the pit straight. George Russell is. Can we go around his outside? I think we can. That is what we're looking for. Lovely jubbly. Still carrying quite a lot extra fuel. Lando Norris is burning his ELS for sure. Right, this will be the first proper straight line speed test with DRS enabled versus the AI. I think we're probably too far back to make a maneuver. So we're going to save our battery and not waste it on an opportunity that probably won't come about. Speaking about not coming about, that apex was a mile off. Something I've noticed, to be honest, about F1 25. Whereas on the previous F1 games, almost you could always brake at the same point regardless of your entry speed, the corner. Whereas this year, I really feel like when you're approaching a corner with DRS, you have to brake a considerable amount earlier, you know. Maybe it sounds obvious to do that, but it hasn't been really a thing in the previous F1 games, so I don't know, it can still catch me out in that situation. But you do have to really think about your entry speed when braking for a corner now. George Russell has been broken out of the DLS, see you later. 13% on the rear tyre deck, so yeah, absolutely chewing my tyres alive. This lap, or next lap I should say, we should be close enough to find our way past Lando Norris. The question will be, are we going to be in a position to keep that and pull away from him 10 seconds faster than the previous lap of the race? Apex speed is lava Lando. That was so slow. Always pulling away from George Russell as well. Right, this lap will be critical. We're going to see. Of course, we're going to pass Lando right now with the top speed advantage from the DLS. But I want to see if we can break the DRS to Lando Norris in that McLaren while we're in a realistic Sauber performance. As you can see, my teammate is only just going through turn 1 now. Actually hit that apex this time around. That's good. That's progress compared to last time. Lando's sticking to us. Right, let's see if we can do anything in this middle sector. Right, up to 7 temps, come on. That was good through that. Just need another 1.5 temps to Lando now. Bit deep, threw too much apex speed in. Surface of the tyre overheated. I just lost grip in performance because of that. Oh, we pushed too hard. Purple middle sector, but we were just pushing the surface temperature too much to try and build that gap. That's a shame. We almost got it. We'll have to go again next lap. But that being said though, Lando's probably going to be in a chance to overtake us with his DRS enabled. Who knows, this might go down to a final lap shootout, to be honest. Might be new fastest lap. Just about is. 8 tenths to Lando. The AI seem to be struggling in the low speed corners. 1 second to him as well. Nah, the exit speed was too good from the traction of the AI. Wasn't quite able to break away from him and get out of the DLS. Will be interesting to see his top speed though, as it's already up to 1 second. Okay, let's see what he does with DRS enabled. He's only gaining marginally. This could be our opportunity now. Could be time to lock in. 1.1, come on! Let's get him. 1.2 seconds. 1 second actually, had a really good exit. He's not going down without a fight, he isn't. But our top speed from these ultra low wings. 1.2 seconds, come on. Cook him up. There we go. 1.7 seconds now for Lando Norris. Need to bring down the surface temperature as well. You can see the rear tyres are very much overheating. That is the theme with F1 2025. Although the tyres are overheating, you can just run the tyre pressure quite low and still gain a decent advantage from it. Let's see what we can do on this lap to build up the gap. Then we're going to try and go for fastest lap of the race on the final tour of the circuit, of course, next time around. Just bringing down the tyre tense this lap. Going to try and be fast, but smooth with our inputs. 12 seconds to Lewis Hamilton as well. Jesus, considering at the end of the interphase, we're really battling with him. We've had a good stint here on the dries. The AI, I think, of course, lost a few seconds in the pit stop. What I think definitely hampered them. Obvious statement, I know. But we was really able to extend our gap after that. 1.9 seconds to Lando now. But we should have close to 100% battery as we're going to be starting the final lap of the race. Apex is lava. Big front right lock up there. Right, 90% across the start finish line. What can we do now? Hook it up. %100% battery on the exit of the corner. We're going to have a big old drain of the battery here. Maybe, just maybe, we can get this over 3 seconds to Lando Norris. We're pushing on this final lap and just giving it every single thing the car has. We're going to be sketchy as in the middle sector, but we're going to try and just make it work. Already the rears are giving up a little bit there. Little bit of overtake. It's going to be difficult to get fastest lap. Not impossible. Just with tyre deg. Right on the limit of the rear grip there. Oh! Having to counter steer into the corner. Bit of a wheel flip to keep stability in the car there. Could feel that the rear tyres were losing grip. So basically just threw the front in and hope that it would stick. Right, we have a chance at the fastest lap here. A small one, but we have to nail the final chicane. We are running out of battery though. It's going to be difficult. Okay, the deployment has been used. Send it in. Rear did not rear. The rear did not grip. Ah, okay, we didn't get it. We're going to be a few tenths away, but still, what a win. P last to P1 in a realistic performance Sauber. Of course, driving as Nico Hulkenberg after a sensational podium there in Silverstone. Driver of the day as well. Let's just hope that this trophy isn't made of Lego. Look at that. An actual trophy. Not some Lego. So there we go. Official race confirmations. We did do the fastest lap with a 1:44.802 and was 3.2 seconds ahead of Lando Norris. A bit crazy that we extended 14 seconds in the final phase of the race to Lewis Hamilton, though, because he was only, well, he was 4 seconds behind us coming out the pits on like lap 5 or lap 6. So to already be losing 10 seconds in such a small amount of time is a bit nuts, I'm not going to lie. And then the car's already at the back. Oliver Bearman was 48 seconds off the lead. That's nuts. That's crazy how big the gap is there. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it. Who do you think is going to win this weekend in Spa? I think with a wet weekend in Spa, I've got a good feeling for Oscar Piastri. I can see Oscar Piastri doing the goods this weekend. With that being said, let me know who you think is going to win the main race. The sprint race, I think, will be Max Verstappen. But yeah, with that being said, I've been Brendon Leigh. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Grazie ragazzi. Ciao, ciao. Bye-bye.